Now he has one concept which is still daunting him, not getting it right. So now if you look at all the data is here, focuses on this object, and then when I go to learner analytics, let me go back. Yeah, so now I do third time and I get 100%. Guess what happens? Badge is awarded. This is how I earn my badge. Every time I get 100%, I get a badge. And that's where the motivation comes from. The gaming gene kicks in. I need badges. I need more badges. When they sleep, I say, all I can think about is badge. People have sent me emails that I like your course and all I think about is badge. How do I get the next badge? They are dreaming about it. So when you go in there, then if you go inside, then you see, now this is all equalized, 100%. And then if I look at how he has gone through this trajectory, and trajectories are very important. In molecular dynamics, we look at the atomic trajectory. In this system, we look at the trajectory of learners, and if I can create an ensemble average of these trajectories, I can learn a lot from that information. So if you look at, and the reason I'm successful in this, because of my molecular dynamics background, because I treat every individual like an atom. And now I can follow the atomic trajectory, and I know, by the way, atoms are well-behaved, human beings are ill-behaved. I can't predict them at all. That's the way it is. So now if you go here, now you can see the learning strategy, inductive, seems to be always coming back. So this is where the system will now put him in inductive, which is now adapted to inductive learning. So it's not that we have to rotate him every time, but once we got enough statistics, he's in inductive, and then once he starts doing not well, then again we start moving. So we do not depend on the labels that you are inductive learner, you are deductive learner. We do not know. And based on content, you may be completely different. So here is the data about pathway. And then, of course, computational experiments are done, so they discuss a lot. Here is the discussion about computational experiments that they are doing. They're forming a lot of teams and doing that, which is great. So this is the limited statistics. We have 921 students. This course is not for faint-hearted. However, it's a very good number of statistics. 759 took the first module, which is where most of the people drop out. And we have 40% people still continuing, which is way higher than 5 to 10% that people are looking at some of the books. So I'm hoping, and we are at around week 6 right now. So in another 6 weeks, I'll be back to report to you what happened. So here are my conclusions. The adaptive MOOCs have a potential to bring real change in online education with broad impact. They do have potential. However, sustainability of MOOC is still a big question. So we have to answer that. And will be justified with the financial models. So financial models always, are important. Bottom line, right? That's where everything goes. Adaptive MOOC will improve learning outcome and completion rate, which is one of the biggest challenges of MOOCs. I think we can solve that. Adaptive mobile learning, especially now that everyone is using mobile, you can take these courses on your iPad and iPhone, which is important. And that's where it will become effective, efficient, engaging MOOCs. Then social learning is becoming very enhanced in these models, forming the group. So if you look at location-based services, system will say, okay, you have 5 students in your city who are taking the same MOOC. And so all of these services, which are paid services, will come in. Just like when you get into the car and say which restaurant you want to go, and you click and someone tells you the same way. I think this is where I see that new models of revenue will be generated, but keeping the MOOC free. Then if you look at MOOC, assessment has to be continuous and not based on like 3-point test. It does not make any sense to do proctored exam with the MOOC, because it's not going to help them. You have to have continuous improvement. And finally, we now have to coin a new term called aMOOC. So we are now contributing to the genre of MOOCs, cMOOCs, xMOOCs, and now aMOOCs. Thank you. We have time for questions or no?
We have time for questions. Fill out the evaluation forms. I think my brain is, I need
Repeat the question if somebody asks.
Make sure you get those answers, questions, and
Be sure to repeat the question if somebody
Yeah.
asks, so it gets on here.
Okay,
I like your earrings.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to sign in here, and don't put file specified. I'll show you later. But you're doing this for MOOCs. What about the application for just a simple LMS for regular?
Not a problem.
courses.
We can do the same thing for any course. So it's not only for MOOC. I mean, this whole thing came out of our LMS, which is called Adaptive Mobile Learning, aMOOC, which does courses with adaptive learning.
Is that LMS available?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Purchase?
Yes.
I'll
It's
be
subscription
talking-
model, so you can just subscribe and use as much as you want.
Okay, I'll be talking to you here in a moment.
Okay.
Can you bring the URL up again?
Sure.
When you talk about sustainability, I assume part of the issue is you're really creating 4 versions or 5 versions of each course for each of those different ones.
Well, not really, but yes, it is. I mean, if you look at sustainability, what I meant is that what is the financial equation that you will make so that not only you are spending money, but you are also recovering your ROI, return on investment. So I think that's where I was going with. So I think that's where after the funding goes away from Harvard and MIT, the question is that how are you going to retain students as well as how you will generate revenue. So we are looking at alternative models there.
I have 2 quick questions, and I think that those who, for LMS that you have adaptive, that would be probably interesting to know. You mentioned before, last year, that your retention rates are very high, and have you done a comparative study between like a course that is taught not an adaptive system with your system and how that compares?
Yeah.
And the second question, very quick one, this data that you show the personalized path, is it available for student to view or just the administrator?
Good question. So we did comparative study with one of the K-12 schools, which I will not name because I need permission to do that. They had 65% completion rate. We did, and this is K-12. We are talking about English literature course, not hard science course where there are specific concepts, but this is English literature where we talk about various different authors and Emerson and Thoreau and all of that. So for that course, they had completion with the best possible online, and they have online program 65%. We got them to 85%. So there was 20% jump in that case, and we consistently see in our online degree program with adaptive learning 90 to 95% degree completion rate. Primarily because people stick to it and they say, oh, I want to take the next one. I want to finish it because I know that system will help me complete it, get to the competency, and I do not have this fear of failing here. And the second question
And the
is,
second was, is the data, like, you know,
Yes.
personalized,
That's
is
good.
it available to the students?
so the question is that is the personalized data available to student? It is available to student first before it is available to even teachers. But teachers and student and the parents, in some cases if it is K-12, they all have access to this data. And I think the reason we give data to student first because we want to sensitize them about what their learning strategy is. Because most of the students do not know their learning strategy. Once they understand, oh, I'm inductive learner, that's great. So now, and what system does, next time they come to the course, they are put in that particular model first. If it doesn't work, then it starts rotating again to find which one will work for this content.
Are they able to choose multiple ones, like if I'm an inductive learner, but I would actually like to go back and see what it looks like as a discovery learner?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You have full control on that. There is a pull down menu where you can go and click and say, I still want to do discovery, although you are telling me I'm inductive learner. You can do that. You have an override. Or you can do both. Or you can try many others in order to get to the concept.
So the cost to develop this has to be very expensive on the front end.
Not really, because what happens is that we have automated tools. So the way it happens is that, and there is an automated tagging tool. So when the content comes in, we tag it using human intelligence and then put it in one learning strategy, which is mostly apprentice learner. So it's a flat apprentice learning, but then system knows how to populate the other model. So all of this handcrafting, and this question is asked to me all the time, is that I can't do one learning strategy. You want me to do 5? You must be nuts. And instructional design said, no way, we can't do it. Do not ask. But what we said, use our tool called iDesigner, which helps you create, everything is in the tool. Once you put it in, it will generate. And that's how we are highly competitive with other courses.
What would you like to do next? I mean, obviously, this is an advancement.
What we are doing right now, we have an agreement with University of Massachusetts to create 20 MOOCs in the area of pre-college. So preparing students to succeed in the college. Because what they are seeing is that students come to the university without preparation, math skills. So we are focusing on that slice, which is where most of the students drop out. We want to make sure they do not become casualty of our educational system. So we give them this additional help, and university is very interested, and the schools are very interested. And I think that's where major impact we can see. And we are thinking that with these 20 MOOCs and considering 50,000 in each one, we'll probably have 1 million students affected every year as we go forward, which is an achievable goal for us. Thank you very much for your time.